Hello, everyone. Let's give it a second and we will get going shortly. All right, I'm just waiting for it to do its thing and let everyone know that we are here and we are live. It's lovely to see you all. I hope everyone is okay and you can hear me. We are streaming live to multiple different platforms. So I will need you to let me know that you can hear me, and I will switch between them all so I can keep in touch with all the chats and messages and things that are going on. So if you can hear me, please leave a comment or a like or something in the chat so we can find out. Thank you, Natasha. Lovely to see you. And I'll keep bouncing between them. So we're going to do all about our CALM Meerkats today. So I have got my lovely boy Nuffle here to help me talk about CALM Meerkats, mostly because he is a very calm boy. For the most part, he has his moments, but he is able to calm his meerkat down and control his meerkat. He is probably one of the dogs that can control his meerkat the best that I currently own. You've already seen Spock try to, so just see if Nuff wants to come in his bed. So, hello, Dawn. Nice to see you. Lovely, Melanie. Lovely to see you too. I hope Sybil's doing okay. So, with our dogs, when they get really kind of worked up, we need to have a way of them to be able to calm themselves down. So, for our active meerkats that get really high, we need to kind of get them into like that thinking mode and get that alert meerkat going. And we need to get them out of this place really, really quickly, the best that we can. Our alert meerkats we can start to work with, and we can get them focusing. And then with our calm meerkats, we want all of that just to kind of breathe and settle down and go, okay, now you can do things. And when we're working with our meerkats in this manner, we want to make sure that our animals are met where they're at. So if we have a dog that is alert, that's waiting for things to happen, kind of a bit like how Nuffle is at the minute, he's sat with me kind of going, is stuff going on? So he's waiting. And as something doesn't happen, what he'll do is go, oh, okay. And then he'll kind of go and flop and he'll relax. Whereas a lot of dogs will start to go, oh, he's just done it now. A lot of dogs will start to paw and get excited. So there's elements of this that is kind of letting our dogs kind of figure it out for themselves. But they need to be able to control themselves first, which is why we build up different things. So while I talk about relaxation, I'm just going to grab my chair. I'm going to show you one of our foot and lead settles. So I hope that everyone's going to be able to see me. I'll wait for the chair to come into view because I know there's a bit of a delay. So I'm going to put the lead on my dog. And this is a good one to practice in the home anyway, because a lot of dogs, as soon as they see their lead, get super excited. So we want to make sure that our dogs can relax a little bit. So let's see if I can angle this properly. Just waiting for the... So you should be able to hear me. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my foot on Nuffle's lead. And I'm going to sit here talking to you. Well, hopefully you can just see Nuffle. Hopefully you can see him. Okay. Can everyone still hear me? And can everyone see Nuffle? So and what we're doing here, this is a program that's on our site in our community called If in Doubt, Chill Out. And I'm not cueing him. I'm not saying anything to him. I'm not pulling him down by his collar. All we're doing is I'm limiting his options. So this is something that I do with all of my dogs. And I highly recommend for a lot of people to give it a go. So when you're out and about, or if you're at home relaxing and you've got a dog that is really busy, really active, they don't really know what to do, this is a great way to help calm them down. And what I'm looking for is just put my foot on the lead and just waiting. If they really, really struggle And if we've got a dog that is trying to chew the lead, they're trying to pull, they're obviously really distressed, then for those dogs, I'm going to start doing some of the exercises that we're going to show you in a minute. But dogs that are able to work through that frustration will be able to go, they'll tug a little bit, they might try a few things, then go, okay, fine, it's not working. And then they'll start to relax. And when I say relaxing, I don't necessarily want them to not be able to do anything. What I'm looking for is that they can regulate themselves, that they're able to just switch off a little bit. So Nuffle showed us that he could do it a little bit there, but because we're live and we've got a camera and there's a treat jar there, Nuffle is very aware that he actually wants to be working right now. So we should see him start to regulate himself. And this is what we want from our dogs. So his options are limited because he's on the lead. He's just huffing a little bit, which is fine. Not sure if you can see him now. I'll just move the camera down. And he's trying to regulate himself. So he knows that we're in a training session and he's like, come on, let's do things. And this is a really good way of kind of demonstrating when they're in that, I kind of want to do something, but not, like he's not in distress here. He's not pulling to get away. There's no tightness on him. He's not screaming. He's not biting. He's just a little bit frustrated and he's working through it. And you tend to hear a telltale huff when they're like, fine. And this is something that if you practice just a few minutes a day, even if you're out on a walk where you just pause, you just put your foot on the lead and just wait, they'll just start to relax. As you can see, Nuffle's now starting to go, okay, put my head down. And what we're looking for is that change in breathing. Like, is the breathing rate slowing down? Are they showing us that they're starting to relax a little bit? What we're not looking for, and what you can sometimes see, especially if you teach relaxation exercises using food, which is an element as to why he's being a little bit funny because there is food in the room, is they'll start to pretend to relax and they'll lie down and go, look how relaxed I am. And they'll keep side glancing at you. Now, you notice that Nuffle isn't doing that. He's like, okay, fine, I've given up. If he was starting to look at me with his eyes and glance up and going, look how relaxed I am, that's not true relaxation. That's not what I'm looking for with this exercise. What I'm looking for is that he's able to regulate himself. He's aware of the surroundings, but it's not bothering him. He can relax. And this is what I do with all the dogs that I personally have and every dog that I train as an assistance dog. The cat has just come in the room, who you probably might see walking past. Go. Nuffle's like, I want to go play with the cat. Nuffle, lie down. Nuffle, lie down. So then, just asking to lie down again as the cat decides that he wants to venture. Ziva, can you leave the room, please? You're not helping. Not sure if you can see him in the background. So now Nuffle's got a little bit excited because he wanted to go and say hi to his cat friend. So we're going to give him a second and see, can he calm himself back down again? I gave him a little bit of food before just to help refocus him. But the main part of this exercise is that we don't use food for it because I don't want that reliant on food for relaxation. Food tends to wind them up a little bit. I know, right, Alex, but cat mummy, like Spiky friend came to say hi. But it was a nice demonstration live. As always, something has to go wrong. If it's not the bins with Spock, it's the cat with Nuffle. So we should see some really nice self-regulation from Nuffle now as he starts to go, that was exciting. Now I'm going to reshuffle myself. I'm going to settle down. Get that. At the end of the session, take our foot off the lead and he can be free to go and do whatever he wants. I'll come and join him on the floor. Good lad. So we're working with dogs that just start doing this exercise, and I'm just going to come and double check the chat on other platforms in case anyone wants me. Nope, we are all good. Fantastic. So, see if we can hear me. I hate the delay. Hi, baby. You did so well. Yes, you did. So if we practice that at regular times, just for short periods to begin with, and once they kind of start showing signs of relaxation, let them relax for a little bit, and then gather the lead, do something else, and then pause, let them relax a little bit. So you're working on wind up and cool down activities, but rather than using food, we're just letting them entirely rely on themselves. Food can be very stimulating to a lot of dogs. However, there are a lot of dogs that when you put your foot on the lead first, they really struggle with it, in which case we do want to start using food. So before we give our foot on the lead settle, as you just seen, we want to build up a really, really nice duration behavior, which is generally our mat work. So as you saw from Spock during the past couple of weeks, we want really nice duration stays on a mat because that will help them understand that they stay here, and duration can be frustrating for dogs. So if we bring out our mat, you can move out the way, sweetheart. So can everyone see that? I'll wait for the delay to put up. Okay. So we want to see if we can start to build up. So as he's a little bit on the excited time, we're going to do a little bit of ping pong because we want to meet them where they're at. So he's not entirely relaxed at the minute. He's come up here because he wants to do some training. That's what we do when the laptop's out. So we're going to go back to my good friend patting game ping pong, where we're just dropping the treats to the side. They come back to the middle. It goes out again. And this is a great one for our dogs that are kind of in that stage between alert and calm. It can also bring our active meerkats down. So you've seen that I've probably used it for each of our meerkats because it's really useful. You can start off really fast and then build up a little bit slowly. And this time I'm just going to pause. And then we get our default behavior. So he has the same default behavior as Spock. Now I'm going to move into our up down. Just putting the treat in between the paws. Looks back up at us. In between the paws. Looks back up. So we've got that movement out the way. And now we're just getting a little bit of calmness by waiting for the next up down. And with up down, I like to kind of vary it a little bit. So last week we started adding 1, 2, 3. I don't necessarily need to do that with Niffle because he's quite good at duration behaviors. Just check the chat. Dawn. So Yasmin does false calm on lead near the cat, lead off, and she runs up the stairs. So I'll try her being calmer on lead. Yeah, it's a really useful one to have. Like, you don't have to use the proper outdoor lead if you don't want to. Sometimes just a house lead or a light line can be really beneficial. And it just helps them to stay because they can't go and chase the thing. So I recommend it to all young dogs that have cats in the home because it stops that initial surge of energy. And then they can't do what they want. So they have to kind of work through that frustration. But again, if they're in distress, if they really struggle with it, then, we want to start doing these sorts of behaviors with them. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to switch to our down for the count. And this is the one where we started last week with Spock. And he really shuffles around because he struggles with it. Nuffle tends to do a little bit better. We're going to see if we can get up to 30 seconds. So I'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You moved, Nuffle. I have to reset you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's shuffling a little bit. Well, those little shuffles are the little bits of frustration. So 1. Cheating. Can we sit? Breathe. Good. Okay. Breathe. Lie down. Breathe. Good. Okay. So what we're going to do next with him, because he's getting a little bit antsy, so I'm going to get him to do a couple of deep breaths, which I was going to do next, but I'll do it now because that's what he needs. Just checking the chat again. Nixa's got really consistent with her up down, but she hates ping pong. Really? So Nixa is a cat, everyone, and patting games are accessible to all species. I love it when cats play patting games. A lot of them do tend to prefer up down to ping pong, unless they flick so they can chase them. So let's see if we can angle so we can see Nuffle's nose, and I will try and do it. So with Nuffle, we're going to see if we can get him to take a breath. So move him up. Can you see his nose? Breathe. Breathe. Good. Breathe. And what you should be seeing, my hand's a little bit in the way, so let's try here. Breathe. Can you see those nose twitches? You have to chew it. Breathe. Just so you can see. So when you're taking a deep breath, how I like to do this, so get him back on his mat. Yeah. Good. Is we want to get a really nice kind of focus looking at you with the mouth closed ideally, because then they're going to breathe through the nose a little bit more. You can breathe in at the same time. And I just hold it up and wait for those. Don't snatch. Good. So if the dogs are new to this, what you want is to hold it there and see if you can get a good kind of 30 seconds or so of them just being still looking at you with the mouth closed. And if they've been doing down for the count, we should have some good duration on that lie down and be still behavior. Good. And then we're listening out for either that huff or to see those nostril flares. Try this with your dogs at home, but have a good look at their noses first. See if you can see it when their nostrils flare. And that's what we're rewarding. Good. Breathe. Good. Breathe. Good. I'm going to reset him a couple of times and go back into ping pong just to get the energy, because lying still could be a little bit harder for them. So this time, I'm going to see if he can do his default behavior. We're going to start doing our down for the count. And then I'm going to ask him if he can take a breath while we're doing down for the count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Well, that's not right. Breathe. Good. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Breathe. Good. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but if you watch the video back, what you'll see is every time Nuffle kind of starts wagging his tail a little bit as we're doing down for the count, when I ask him to breathe, you notice that tail stops, it starts to calm down, it doesn't start wagging again for the next couple of bits where we count. And that shows that that deep breath inhale is starting to help really relax him. So if we can start to get them into the habit of lying down, doing some duration behavior, doing some deep breaths, see if we can get 30 seconds, build it up to a minute or 2. These are the kind of things that we want before we kind of put our foot on the lead for those dogs that struggle. If they don't struggle, then it's absolutely fine. We can go straight to our foot on the lead. But for those that do struggle, we really want them to focus on that. 1, 2. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can treat and talk at the same time and watch him on the camera. And the more you practice this, you'll find that they're able to do it a little bit faster each time. And they start to relax a little bit more each time. So we know soon enough that his tail isn't going quite as much. He's not stamping his paws. Yeah. He's still eager to have the food. I'm going to start to gradually increase the time in between things, but we don't have as much of that frustration going on. We've got a lot more of a relaxed dog. He's still alert, he's still focused, he's still very much wanting to work, but we don't have the stampy paw dog that we had about 10 minutes ago, or the one that was interrupted by a cat. Okay. It's nice and calming. Breathe. Good. If you have dogs that struggle a little bit with the focus or with eye contact, you can always try things like latte. And that's the look at that game with enrichment. I know, did I just grab more food? So I'm just going to wait and see if he goes back into his default behavior. I'll give him a minute. And what I want is to see that regulation from him. I want to see if he can control his frustrations, control those emotions he's feeling, and repeat the behavior that we've rewarded. And because lying down and doing this stuff has been rewarded so much with him, that's where he goes. So if he's ever unsure about what to do, we get this down behavior, we get this self-regulation behavior, and he'll try and regulate himself and relax, which makes him a really good assistance dog, because it means that I can go somewhere, and even if it's somewhere that tends to spook him or he's a little bit unsure about, he's able to recover quite quickly, and he can shake it off and go, oh, that was unpleasant, let's do this. And I can use these exercises if I need, just to help him regulate if we do struggle with something, but most of the time we tend not to. And if you just practice it just for 5 minutes a day, if you can do it a couple of times a day, fantastic. And it really builds up that muscle. If you try and think of the relaxation muscles as a way for, just similar to like just normal muscle, the more you use them, the better they are. If you know someone that panics a lot or gets angry a lot, if they practice breathing techniques where they can just and it can calm them. And if you can practice that with your dog, it can be really beneficial. Other things that you can do to help them, especially if you want to co-regulate, is you can help by fussing them. If they're a tactile dog, not all dogs will want to be fussed. So I think we do want to try and calm them. The best place is to start, in my experience, it's kind of around the shoulders, a little bit on the chest. Have I got crumbs on my legs? Can we not? Can we not? So you'll often see, if you watch me with my dogs a lot, that I do lots of massaging strokes, generally around the neck and around the chest. And just calming touches, gentle talking is a good way. So if we've got dogs that are getting a little bit too worked up, they're not really interested in the food, some nice massaging strokes can be really beneficial for our dogs. It's worth checking out things like T-touch, because that can also really help. Some dogs might really benefit from licky mats, snuffle mats, things like that help to keep them engaged. So it can give them things to help work through. Not all dogs are able to go from being up here to calm down. So what we saw just in the 20 minutes is we saw a squeak and I want to play with the cat to, okay, I can relax on my bed. And that takes months to practice. Like, he didn't come like this. There was a time where if he saw the dogs and things that excited him, he would scream. And I've got a video somewhere if anyone wants to see it, of him just like losing himself and just lunging and crying because he couldn't cope with the frustration. So we did loads of these kinds of exercises. Some of them using food, like you've just seen, others without food, like you saw earlier on, and with our foot on lead settle. That's a very particular thing for him, where he understands that foot on lead means whatever's going on doesn't involve him. There's no food available for him. We're not working right now. This is rest time. So he'll just automatically go into a down. And if anyone ever sees me out at a conference or a dog event, just watching throughout the day, and you'll find that whenever I kind of pause and put my foot on the lead, he will just kind of go into that down thing. And that's what we want from our dogs, but it doesn't come easily. It does take a lot of work and a lot of practice. I just noticed that you can't see me very well, so I just moved it up. I was focusing a bit too much on our dog. So he's just gone off camera now because that's just typical. So I'm just going to wait and see if anyone has any questions before I tell you about a fabulous little thing that I'm doing for everyone that is watching these. So got some questions in the chat, so I'm going to read these out. With down for the count, if they can see they aren't going to make it to the next number, can I reward earlier to keep them there or still carry on? Yeah, you can. So if you kind of really watch your dog's body language for this, and if you see them kind of about to shuffle, you can, if you get in there fast enough, then you can stop them from doing it. If they do, then throw the treat off, let them reset, let them come back and try again. If we've got animals that understand the deep breath, when they come back, you can ask them for a breath and they go, okay, can we start again? Some dogs will get cheeky, so if you do it too much with the resetting, you can accidentally back chain it, where they start to shuffle around because that's the way to get the treats. So sometimes being a little bit faster with your counting can help. But I usually find that just that slower down in my voice and that 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 just kind of helps because it starts to become a predictable thing for them, so they can really work through. Sorry if my hand was covering the camera when we were looking at his nose. There is a video on our website, on our community, of how to take a deep breath, where we have some really nice close-up videos of some dogs' noses, and you can really see the kind of nostril flares that we're looking for. You'll see Nuffle's nose on that, and my old boy Deefer, who sadly is no longer with us. He's my husky, and he was really good at doing deep breaths. Subtle, but once you know what you're looking for, it's easy to spot twitch in the nose. Yeah, and with the noses, like each dog has a different type of nose and bits to look for. So some of them, the kind of top bits will start to twitch. Sometimes you're best looking at the sides where it curves, especially if you're side on to your dog, because as that bit lifts, you'll kind of see through it. So if it's a well-lit room, you'll see a gap coming through. If you're struggling with the nose, focus on the chest and just start to look for when they're kind of breathing, when they're naturally just giving you a huff. If you're really struggling, then do something to what I did before, where we're building our dogs up a little bit. We're getting them to work and then pause. And at some point during that rest time, they're going to have to take a deep breath just to naturally regulate themselves and bring themselves back down. And then you can capture and reward that instead if you wanted to. So I'm just going to look on the other one. So, hi, Linda. What's the trigger behavior you look for to treat and to stop counting? Okay, you mean for when I reset the dogs? So what I'm looking for when I'm doing down for the count is I want stillness. That's what we're looking for, is can we keep our paws still? Can we keep our head still? Can we keep our tail still? The tail is usually the last one to go to stillness, so I don't expect dogs to do that straight away. As you saw with Nuffle, the tail wags and then it slows down and stops, and then it wags again and then it slows down. When you start to practice a little bit more, you'll notice that they'll just start to really do the stillness. If I start to notice them shuffling and fidgeting, that's what I look for to stop counting. I throw the treat out, so I reset them, so I let them come back down. And try and think of it as if you're trying to relax on a sofa or you're trying to relax in bed. It takes a couple of kind of shuffles before you're in a state where you can go, okay, now I'm comfy, now I'm relaxed. So by offering them that chance to reset, they get to move their body around, they can come back and go, okay. And once they learn what the pattern is, and this is a duration exercise, they'll start to go, oh, we're doing this. And then you'll start to see them just lie down. They'll get themselves comfy. Some of them will start to fall asleep. And you see very similar to behavior to what you saw with Nuffle when my foot was on the lead, where it's like, oh, we're doing this. That sucks. And then they just flop. Does that answer your question, Linda? If you have any more, feel free to type again in the chat. Let's flick through everything else and just check. I think I'm answering everyone's questions. So the reason that I did the summer Meerkats is I really want people to to understand the power of different pattern games and just simple exercises that aren't rocket science. Like, nothing I'm teaching here is amazing. It's not going to win you any prizes or awards, but it is kind, it is effective, and it works really, really well for so many dogs. And it's simple for you, so it's not going to tire out our brains. You can do them in a few minutes. And I would like to invite anyone that wants to. I do skills sessions in my community. So Control the Meerkat has a membership community. We have an online community. We have educational videos. We have instructional videos. And we also meet once a month to have a chat. We're now switching that round a little bit, and we're going to have our skills session Mondays. So once a month for an hour. We're going to discuss different pattern games, different exercises we can do. So we'll be focusing on lead work skills. We'll be focusing on how to teach your dogs to switch off properly when they're in the home, both on and off lead. We're going to look at some pattern games and anything that you want, and be able to build up a nice supportive community where you can come along, you can learn some foundation skills that can be really effective on the long term for your dogs, that are helping them manage their reactivity, build up the confidence of being left alone. Regardless of the problem that you're dealing with, these foundation skills will help build up a really resilient and confident dog. So then you can work with your local trainer, your local CAB, whoever you're working with. These are the foundation skills that most professionals kind of want our dogs to understand, that ideally to master when we're working through them. So that's what I really want to do, is kind of help you guys get those foundations and those basic down. And as a thank you for everyone for coming and joining me, I would like to offer everyone 50% off our 3-month pass to our community. So I'm going to pop a link in the chat. If you are already a member of our community or one of our clients, you already have access to all of this. But if you would like to give access to anyone else that you know, then feel free to share that link with anyone and let them watch the videos. It is only available for the next 2 weeks. So if you want to come and hang out with me a little bit more once a month, if you want to watch the videos on how to take a deep breath, the videos on if in doubt, chill out with your dogs. We've got a check-in challenge to get our dogs to auto check-in that utilizes some of the up, down and ping pong pattern games. We've got more videos to come. We have a stop the dog one, some base of understanding those basic foundations. And a private Facebook page as well for anyone that's interested in chatting more to me. But we really want to kind of help as many people as possible just get these foundation skills down, because they can make such a huge difference. And then if you do need further help, our clinical behavior team can support you, or we can help you find someone closer to you in your area. We're also very happy to work virtually with you. A 3-month pass is usually £90. We're offering you 50% off, which is £45 for 3 months, which means you get 3 hours to come and chat to me and learn some more skills. And we can focus on some of the ones that you've seen over the past few months, few weeks here in the centre. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. It's been lovely to kind of just have a couple of live sessions with you. I don't go live very often and do training with my own dogs. But speaking of relaxation, I'm just going to move the camera around a little bit. He's lifted his head up now. So I'll just wait and see if he does it again, just to show you what that kind of looks like. So I moved it around. So he's like, what are you doing? And what we should see is I've been moving, I've been fiddling around, and he's like, oh, we're doing something more. And I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes. And what we should find is he'll just start to put his head down and go, okay, I'm going to switch off again. And that's what we want from our dogs. We want those really good off switches. And I would love to help you teach them. I'm glad that you like it, Alex. It's lovely to hear. You're welcome, Natasha. It'll be lovely to see you in some of our sessions. Dawn, I will double check your access and see what's going on there to make sure that you do have access to everything that you should have. I don't know if anyone saw on the camera. I don't want to fiddle with it too much. But Nuffle just shuffled around and switched off and gone to relax on his own. And that's what we want. That's a dog that can control their meerkat, is where they can go, oh, okay, it doesn't involve me anymore. I'm just going to relax. Or, oh, I've seen something exciting. I can calm myself down. So glad that you understand. If you have any questions, please do come along to our next Meerkat skill session Mondays. They're generally the last Monday of the month. And we can discuss and talk about all the different skill sessions that you have. Anyone that's in the community already, if you want any clarification on any points or any links to things, please do send me a message. We've got a messaging system in the community. So you can just send me a message and I can clarify anything and have a chat to you through there if you need to. But it's been lovely sharing these lives with you. I hope you've enjoyed them and I've not just been talking a bunch of rubbish. And if anyone has any feedback, if you want to share anything, please do. If you think anyone will benefit from these simple, easy tasks to help build up some really good foundation skills, please do share the link or share these videos. You can find them on the Control the Meerkat Facebook page if you scroll down, or if you search for Summer of Meerkats. And we also have a YouTube playlist that has all of them on as well. So they'll be easy accessible and they'll be free and they'll be there forever because I don't take down anything that was originally free. And so you'll have access to those so you can practice them as much as you like. And it's been lovely to see you all. I hope everyone is okay. Thank you for being active in the chat. It really helps. I'm really grateful it's helping you learn, Alex. That's wonderful. I will let you all go and have a fantastic evening.